Yes, sir. Welcome back to another Chop or Die film session. I am your host of the Chop or Die podcast, Mual. And on this episode, we are diving into the Jayden Daniels portfolio, quarterback out of LSU. Obviously, his 2023 campaign was new to everybody. I would say majority of football watchers and college football fans outside of LSU, LSU guys and ladies probably knew quarterback he was capable of. But the 2023 Heisman campaign, I don't think a lot of people saw coming. And on this portfolio, this film session, or whatever you want to label it out there, we're going to tap into his abilities as a pocket passer, the things that he does well in the pocket. So before we get started, as always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you are new. Let us know what your comments and thoughts are on Jayden Daniels down in the comment section. But yeah, stay tuned for plenty of more film sessions, portfolios of players. There'll be more videos just like this with a couple of more of your favorite quarterback prospects. So let's go ahead and get started. So some of these clips is going to mix in 2022 with 2023 to start things off with Jayden, man. This is a 2022 clip against Florida, not that game-breaking, record-breaking performance, LSU Tigers. But the most important thing here is understanding, one, you got a free play, right? But also just going through the progression and the process nonetheless as a quarterback, being able to manipulate those safeties, right? Having that mental processing to know, regardless of where I want to go with the football, right? My true intent, I got to make sure that this safety has a little space as possible to get back to my field side read, which is number 10 over here. Ultimately, you get a good ball, you get a touchdown, right? But again, when you look at this side as well, when you get that trips look, the way the Gators is playing it, that field side safety is real shallow over top of that slot receiver, right? So at that point, because Jayden obviously is being able to read things right, and that boundary safety has already sprinted to get over top of that receiver, that field side safety is already flat-footed, waiting on anything in breaking. So that leaves a true one-on-one opportunity with 10. And that's ultimately how you get this opportunity. Sure, you get a free play with the offsides, but that's Jayden Daniels in the face of pressure, mind you, being able to make this throw and get a completion for a touchdown. It's a really big play, but also just kind of shows you his processing from an eye standpoint, above the neck standpoint of how I can make this play possible for my team. Now, you see an opportunity against Georgia, right? In a game, we kind of knew how it turned out. A shootout in a sense, 80 points scored, but it wasn't really close. They got 50 put up on them. The LSU Tigers did. I think they scored 30 as a team. But again, you see another situation where it's not necessarily a deep bomb, right? I think they end up taking the lead with this one early on. They go up 7-0 against Georgia. But you're seeing his patience in the pocket, understanding it's a 4-man rush, right? The delayed rusher came from the second level, but he knows that he has time, right? He's not panicking. He's not looking with all this space in front of him to take off, right? He's letting this play develop downfield, right? And I think that's another thing when you got to take into account with Jayden. His legs, he has elite speed, but that doesn't mean that he's taking these runs or he's being known for his athletic ability because he chooses to scramble more times than stay in the pocket and make the right read. Right, so this is what you get from a person who's aware of the time that he does have in the pocket, because that rush line for Georgia is playing things conservatively against him. And you get a TD out of that when you get a playmaker like number 7 on your offense. Here you get a situation. This is your first game as an LSU Tiger, right? You just transferred in. I think he's coming from Arizona, right? Or Arizona State, excuse me. In your very first game as an LSU Tiger, you get a 3rd and 11. Now, this wasn't a completion, right? We know it wasn't a completion, and we'll see it on the end zone angle why I think this is worth showing. Again, there's a couple things that I want everybody that's listening or watching to take account of, right? One of the things that's just going to really make or break you in the NFL on the next level is how you perform in clutch situations, how you perform in the red zone, and how you perform on 3rd down. Well, for Jayden, I'm thinking of Washington, but for Jayden, it's 3rd and 11 in the red zone at that, right? So you see the angle that's running. Once you get that motion, you see the leverage that Jayden is understanding, right? But also understand is this is a very small window to complete this pass. Now look where his arm is, look where the ball is, and look where the receiver is breaking at the time in which he threw the ball. If everything works out well, meaning if number 7, right, is aware of the situation, understanding of the moment, right, his head is getting turned around quicker than what it is. It doesn't give the safety who's over top of him, right, time to react on the play. If he turns his head around, he has an opportunity to make a catch. He may have an opportunity to score a touchdown, right? So we're pausing right here to show this angle, and now let's show the end zone angle to see a little bit better how this was a very good read from Jayden. Not only that, but also good velocity to fit this pass in there in the tight window throw. Again, look where the ball is and look at the receiver and how he played it. He was going to take a hit. We know that. But help your quarterback out a little bit, brother. Help your quarterback out a little bit. So again, good read from Jayden, staying in the pocket, making a tight window throw. You just wish the result was a little bit better from an overall team perspective. Another thing, again, we're still in 2022 here, but another thing that I think is important is understanding what he did in 2022 and then obviously what he did in 2023, right? This was always in Jayden, and I think this is the reason why he was an option for the Tigers, as, you know, they had a new head coaching situation, a new staff situation, right? Ability to work his progressions from a full standpoint, right? Having the options all available to him, being able to work every single thing, read the defense, read the leverage of how these defenders are playing his receivers, right? And ultimately going to the backside dig, which is clearly based on the way his head was moving on the other angle, was one of his last progressions in this play. So you're seeing him start to the left, right, that field side, right, and working through so many different progressions, but also as a pocket passer, right, being able to see exactly how much time, or be aware of exactly how much time he has, not panicking under pressure, right, and making that completion, ultimately getting them a first down and extending the drive. So as we move forward to 2023, you see some more opportunities to understand Jayden as a pocket passer, right? Now you're saying a 5-man pressure, essentially a blitz, right? And you got a one-on-one opportunity against cover 1 man. You see where that safety is, where he takes his drop, where his back is, right? As he's flipping his hips, he's nowhere near the slot fade, right? But again, let's run this in its totality so you can kind of see every single part of this play unfolding. One of the best throws of Jayden Daniels' 2023 campaign, right? All right, there we go. So you see how he's trying to process everything, see how everything's playing out. As soon as he drops back, able to see post-snap how everything unfolds from a coverage standpoint, understanding that safety is nowhere near this receiver. I'm going to give it a shot. Now let's go back to what just happened. Look at the ball placement. Outside shoulder and tight coverage, right? And a receiver being good enough to make what was a great ball, right? A great throw from Jayden Daniels look even better with a completion. That's a tight throw, a tight window throw, tight, no separation at all on that slot fade from your receiver. You attack the defender in a one-on-one opportunity, and your receiver makes you right. That's really good for both the receiver. That's really good from Jayden Daniels, but also understanding what he could do from a pocket is really good when you have to look at him as a passer, view him as a passer. All right, here we go. As we continue, you start to see some of those pressure moments, right? Missouri was one of the best games that he had. Again, you're talking about trailing, back and forth, lead swings, right? But also in a moment where you're trailing in this specific play, right? You're trailing, you're down, I believe, in this moment, and it's late in the game. Let me actually double check here. Yeah, so you're trailing in the late fourth quarter. You're trying to get a drive going, right? You're not panicking. You're able to see that backside read and make a big play out of it. Was number 8, right? So from a standpoint of Jayden, mind you, he's about to take a hit with some pressure, right? But standing tall in the pocket, not trying to escape anything, understanding that I know that somebody's going to get open for me, right? Trusting his receivers as opposed to taking off and making something shake with his legs. Takes a hit. Ball is on point, able to keep the receiver running in stride. And you get a big play out of that. Let's go back to the red zone. Again, now first game of the season, again, staying in the pocket, understanding, mind you, this is man coverage, right? But understanding that, let's start at the first level, because as he's processing this thing, you can see the number 8 is open right here at the snap of this, or at the point in which you freeze frame it, right? You can make this throw, or you can take account, because you got to think, what I'm saying to you is longer processing than what is actually happening in real time. This is for any player, right? They're thinking about this 10 times quicker than I'm explaining it to you. But again, at this point, look at where that middle linebacker or that middle defender is. I think that's a DB or a linebacker. I can't tell. But he sees where Jayden is going with his eyes, right? So if he continues to make this throw, he risks throwing an interception at the goal line. Right. So again, as we understand that on the first level, let's look at the back level and the way he made this decision. One of the best throws again of Jayden Daniels' 2023 campaign. The issue that this was an incomplete pass because he wasn't able to get his foot in bounds. He caught the pass, but throwing that back shoulder on the back line of the goal line and trusting your receiver to make a play is a quality trait in a quarterback, right? I trust my receiver more than I trust your DB, but also I understand that he has his back towards me. So I know even if I throw a bad ball, he's not going to make a play on this. It's either my receiver's going to make a play or it's going to be an incompletion. Let's go ahead and run it back one more time. Like that's an elite ball. That's an elite ball placement. It doesn't really get no better than that. Standing tall in the pocket in a critical situation. And I'm gonna try and get my team some points. If there's one thing that LSU did well is how they utilize their pre-snap motion in this offense, right? And I think for Washington fans and even NFL fans, you know how essential pre-snap motion could be for an offense, right? And just understanding the help that it brings for your quarterback, helping them dictate or understand the coverage so they can dictate where they're going to go with their first read, right? And for LSU in this instance, they're using 86, their tight end, to get a gauge on what type of defense the Gators are running, whether it's man or whether it's zone, right? So with LSU, they ran out a good amount of half-field reads. And this is one of those instances as well where you have like a little spot concept, but the timing is important, right? It's not just the fact that it's like a 5-yard throw, but it's the timing and understanding that gap in the zone defense, right? And how he's processing things pre-snap and post-snap for Jayden Daniels, right? And now, as you see how quickly that is, you also see where the ball placement is away from the defender when you make this throw. And that's really good awareness in real time as well, saying I'm going to get this ball away from this close defender. I'm going to put this on slightly behind 17, make him adjust away from the defender, and maybe he gets some more yards because of my throw and my decision. I mentioned previously as well, like throughout passing as we go through this film session, how he can be very good with his on structure timing, but also understanding leverage as well. This is another one of those instances, right? Being able to make this field side throw with good arm strength and velocity, right? But also understanding what your receiver is running, right? And how he's attacking the bail technique with the back towards them and just, attacking the blind spot. If I had to be a little bit more clear, the blind spot of the DB, right? Sitting on that curl, forcing that DB to have to plant and come back to him, right? But look where the ball is at the time in which he throws it, understanding all of that, right? But also having the arm strength to make that throw. On structure, the timing is good, the placement is good, right? And you can see that often with Jayden. It's just being able to be on time within the rhythm of an offense, and that's important. And we'll end it with this one because this is one of my favorite ones. Again, we talked about that pre-snap motion, right? So as the snap, you can kind of see where that tight end is in motion. You'll probably see it better on the end zone angle. But taking that hit, right? That's a crazy hit. And it's staring you down in the barrel of your face, bro. Staying in that pocket, understanding how to be on time and on rhythm, right, within the offense, knowing that you're about to take a hit. Like, he came in free. It ain't nothing Jayden can do about that. It's either I'm going to stand in here and make the throw, or I'm going to get nervous and maybe hesitate, maybe panic and drop my head, maybe try to get out of here and say, F this throw. I don't want to get hit like this. I'm out of here. Instead, he makes the throw, right? But that's not even the more difficult part. It's like, how do I make this throw under pressure? And I got to get the ball over the number 11's head. Big play. So for Jayden and the LSU Tigers, I think one of the things that really benefited the Tigers offense this year is just Jayden Daniels. And even in 2022, as we started out showing, right? He's a person who understands how to pre-snap process and post-snap process, right? But he also understands when he knows how much time he has in the pocket, but also understands if there's pressure and I got to make this throw, I'm willing to do it. That's competitive toughness. That's mental toughness. That's physical toughness. Every single word of toughness that you can think of describes exactly what we've shown in Jayden Daniels. He's able to make throws on structure, right, within the timing of an offense, right? And I think those are things that are important because he's not letting a second go to waste when he's back in the pocket. And that's really good for Jayden Daniels. That's really good for any prospect in hopes of making it to the next level. When you show signs like that at college, right, those NFL traits, it's good to know you can transfer that to the next level. It all depends on what type of structure you have on the next level, how much time it takes for you to develop, right? Because it's still going to be some time, but how much time does it take? So that's going to wrap it up for this portfolio of Jayden Daniels. Stay tuned for more of him. Stay tuned for more with other prospects as well. Hope you all enjoyed. And until next time, man, peace.
Chop it down, chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Damn, set, watch him throw the ball, man. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.